Welcome to tutorial key points video number 7 for W201. This session was really a practical session. We looked at a number of problem questions relating to accomplice liability, to theft and robbery, to fraud and aggravated property offences. And do take every opportunity to look at problem questions to try and solve them ahead of the exam. Get used to applying the actus reus, mens rea possibility of defences and coming to a conclusion, but relating it to problem questions. You'll find examples of old exam papers on Elite. You'll also find it throughout the manuals. So that took the bulk of our time. I also discussed some keys to revision. For want of a better phrase, we discussed the laws of memory and behaviour. The first is the primacy effect. We remember information at the start of a learning session. So every time you start revising, and I'll discuss what revising is in a couple of minutes. When you start a session, that is going to linger longer in your memory than the stuff later on. So, good idea is to have lots of starts. The evidence is that we are most effective in sessions of about 30 to 40 minutes. It depends on individual people. But don't, for heaven's sake, sit down at 6 o'clock in the evening and work straight through to 9 o'clock. It's not a very efficient way of doing it. Break it up. It will revive you, but also there will be this primacy effect from what you learn at the start of a session. The second is the recency effect. Those things at the end of a session get held better in the memory. Again, this relates to the advantages of these short revision sessions. Short, intense sessions work much better than unbroken learning sessions. Thirdly, the extraordinary effect. We remember things which stand out, like the decomposing snail in Donahue and Stevenson. That will be struck upon your memories for the rest of your lives. So, how can you make constitutional, administrative, human rights, criminal law more memorable? Use your senses and your imagination, and sometimes you'll sense the ridiculous. Visual. Can you put it in a form where you can see it? Drawings, notes, spidergrams, mind maps, even visualize in your mind. Visualization helps. Hearing. Read it out loud. Put it on a recorder. Give a lecture to your pussycat or to a soft toy or even a bottle of water, but verbalize it. Touch. Use fingers to remember points. Imagine touching something. Again, Donahue and Stevenson is memorable because, imagine pulling that snail out of that ginger beer bottle, how you'd feel. Makes it memorable. The fourth is the association effect. We remember connected information. So keep making those connections. Then, most importantly, the condensing effect. Reduce, reduce again, and reduce again. The ideal is one-word triggers. Snail, Donahue and Stevenson, the neighbour principle, Lord Atkins, the law of negligence, all connected to that single reduced word. And that's the advantage of revision cards. Cases, key concepts. Now, I'm aware that those are commercially sold. They have some advantage. The repetition can help. But it's actually that condensing of the information in your own words which helps store it in your mind. So if you're tempted to buy those revision cards, they aren't particularly good value for money. You're much better investing the time doing your own condensing, producing your own revision cards, because the condensing is actually the key to revision. Briefing notes, key talking points on each subject. So, a little bit there on revision. Finally, TMA 06. As with the previous TMA, same sort of thing, identify each potential incident and the offences that that incident could give rise to. And don't imagine that there may just be one. There may be a number of choices, or there may be additional ones. So again, go through the actus reus, the mens rea, and relevant offences. In this TMA, I would certainly expect to receive from you some discussion and application of the GOSH test, and some discussion and application of R&G, that case we looked at some time ago on recklessness. Explain reasoning, and again, do look at those assessment criteria for this particular TMA, so that you are focused on the objectives set out by the person who's written this assignment. Anyway, look forward to our next tutorial key point video in September.